NBA and NBPA agreed to resume playoffs Saturday, announced new social justice initiatives. Woohoo! Aren't you lucky? Wow. Of course, what do I say about pro sports? You know the slogan. Pro sports is cancer. Please do not support pro sports. If you have pro sports stuff, it's good time to maybe have a campfire or something, right? Or a bonfire if necessary. Come on, folks, right? Like, it's the beast. And as long as you continue to consume and support and fund the beast will continue to do what it does, which is this New World Order here. So you see the league and the players union announced that the NBA will restart the playoffs. Now, if you just think about everything that happened, right, with the scamdemic, one of the things that really kicked off, the thing that kicked off the scamdemic, what was it? You know what I call it, right? It's the Kobe virus. So it was the alleged death of Kobe in the helicopter crash, which happened late last year and was the catalyst for everything that happened since. So the NBA, who runs your leagues, right, has been front and center for not just the race war, right, that they have instigated and the Black Lives Matter, but also the scamdemic itself. And if you remember, it was Rudy Gobert who mocked the whole hand washing and sanitization ritual by rubbing his hands all over the microphone and the table in a press conference. And then less than 24 hours later, 12 hours later, he was diagnosed as the first NBA player to test positive for Kobe. You have to be born yesterday. Unfortunately, most people that watch sports are not very intelligent people. They don't want to think for themselves, so they continue to support the system that just wants to up the ass, right? So it is what it is, and here you go. What else happened with the Kobe virus? Well, the NBA was the first league to suspend play. And then the next day, the NHL followed suit and whatever other leagues were out there. And it's like, when you think about what has happened, you just think about, okay, you could say there's a good side to pro sports because, like, say, here in Montreal, we have the Canadiens, there's all these restaurants and bars that are on the theme of the hockey team and the history. And it's a big part of the fabric of the city. And when the team is doing well, there's a buzz, and and then there's souvenir stands, and everyone from frickin' street vendors to scalpers to hot dog stands and bars and restaurants has some sort of economic spinoff from that. So I understand that part to it. But when you think about it, they come in and they suspend play. Who gets affected? Well, the players are making in the NBA, I think they might be the highest paid people in the world. So you want to talk about people that have extraordinary privilege. Look no further than the NBA. I don't care what color you are. Everybody knows that, right? I don't give a damn. But don't you sit up on stage and read a script, and talk about how, we need to change things when you're making hundreds of millions of dollars. Nobody is going to listen, or nobody should be listening to you. That's the reality. So they suspend. Now think about it. Who really is affected? Are the owners, who are billionaires, psychopathic scumbags of the New World Order, and they mostly banks and big tech corporations and whatnot, and it's their little plaything, right? To own a franchise, right? And they can say, I got a franchise, and I got 2 franchises. I got a soccer team and a baseball team, and now I'm going to buy a football team, and I'm going to add a hockey team and all that, right? And it's an elitist thing, so nobody should give a damn about the scumbag owners. Then you think about the players. Well, the players, for the most part, are already multi-millionaires playing sports. Now, them playing sports compared to everything else that everybody else does, is that really indicative of how much they should get paid? Now, I'm in favor of free enterprise capitalism, right? But the thing is that these people now, because of the way the evolution of the pro sports leagues, which has been absolutely awful, it's all New World Order, and the price gouging of the average fan. I did a video 2 years ago on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, I want you just to think about this. Just think about it for a second. This was 2 years ago. It's on Supreme Lord Commander, unless they've taken it down. But I talked about how the average price for a ticket to see the Toronto Maple Leafs was $363. And just think about that. $363. Now, I showed conversely ticket stubs from the 1970s in places like Montreal where people were paying $5 to actually get a half-decent seat and not be mind controlled by all the flashing lights and the jumbotrons and the mind control that they never stop hitting you. I mean, you pay so much to get in there and then just bombard you with advertisements, and then they bombard you with social justice messages, and then they bombard you with all their New World Order propaganda, right? So you're paying to get mentally raped when you go to these games. Yeah, you can have fun. Yeah, there's still a product on the ice, I suppose, or on the field, right? But overall, it's pretty evil where it's gone. And you could go back in time. You could say, yeah, it wasn't right, in the 1930, the Black Sox scandal, right? For instance, where the baseball players could barely make ends meet. A lot of them had to have jobs on the side, sort of thing, and the owners were stinking rich, and they were jerking off their players. So a bunch of them, decided to forfeit the World Series. That's Arnold Rothstein, if you're interested in that sort of sports lore. But that different era where the hockey players, when I was a kid, they used to live on our streets and stuff like that, right? They weren't making millions of dollars. They were making decent salaries, but they weren't making millions of dollars. Well, it's the same with the price of the tickets. The people were going to see the hockey games might have been paying $15, $20, $30 tops to go see a game, which, compared to now, it's unbelievable. And it's like they have done this to us. And the way the beast works, the way that their system works, is that it's a corporate takeover of all of our entertainment. And you think about the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Maple Leaf Gardens, or whatever it's called now, the Air Canada Centre, right? The same here with the Health Centre here in Montreal. It's the corporations that own almost all the seats. It's like 85% of the seats are owned by the corporations themselves. So it's already paid for, and the people that actually sit in the stands aren't really the fans to begin with. And this is the same with basketball, the same with baseball, and the same with all of them. Football, all of them are the same. And I'm sure it's exactly the same in Europe. So they have taken these things that used to be accessible. I talked about it when I was talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I said, could you imagine you had a family of 4 that you wanted to take to a game, right? You're talking thousands of dollars when you factor in the parking, the hot dogs and the beverages, right? And maybe a couple brews and all that stuff. You're 4 times 336, and it's like, how did we get here? Well, because these leagues are evil. That's why. Bad people run these things, and we all need to turn our backs on them forever. And there's never been a better time, and there's never been a better reason than now. Why is it that I talk about this a lot? I said, I like to just be able to put on sports, not to think about anything like the New World Order, not to think about the LGBT, XYZ, all the Kalergi plan, all the programming, everything that they're doing, right? I like to be able to put on the sports and have no message. I like to be able to put on like a hockey game on a Saturday night, have a few brews, kick back, just watch the good old hockey game. It's the best game you can name, right? And just watch it and just escape, because that's what you do with these things. I mean, that's the purpose of entertainment is, life is hard. We want to enjoy life for a few hours, and then you go back to your normal sort of thing, right? And it's the same with the movies. Like, I don't want to go see a movie with somebody who's dying of cancer, right? Or something like you go to the movies to get away from all the horrible things, hopefully, right? And enjoy life for a little bit and take a little ride, like a roller coaster or something like that. But this is the reality. I mean, come on. Have you guys been to a hockey game or a soccer game or a the hockey's even worse because of the big jumbotrons, so you can't escape it. And everybody's watching the jumbotrons. When it's here in Montreal, the players, the coaches, the staff, they're all looking up at the jumbotron every time there's a break, because you can't turn your eyes away from a screen that's like 40 feet wide, and and then you got the screens going around the whole arena sort of thing. So basically, when I say pro sports is cancer, I mean it most sincerely, that it's very bad for you, and there's nothing beneficial about it. And look what they're using it for, all right? Like, what the hell is going on here, all right? Yeah, I don't want to hear any NBA player ever tell me about white privilege or any of that garbage. When you're making tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, shut the F up. All right? Just shut. When you're the mayor of Atlanta, shut the F up. When you're the congressman or shut the F up. I'll listen to other people that are struggling about privilege or whatever they've been suffering from, or racism, but I ain't going to listen to you, because you suffered absolutely nothing. If anything, you benefited way more than everybody else. All right? So enough of this crap. Enough of these Steven Jackson, the twin, of course, of George Floyd, who said, "Oh yeah, I don't care if they burn the whole place down. I'm totally down for that." When he's talking about Minnesota, they can burn the whole thing down. I'm all on board for that. But not Atlanta. We built that city. It's a chocolate city, right? Oh, imagine if a white guy said that, right? Oh, yeah, I don't care if they burn down all of Atlanta, but not Minnesota. Right? I mean, come on, seriously. I mean, look at the hypocrisy, look at the insanity, and this is all choreographed. Everything is choreographed. They showed you in your movies and your music videos, like the Joker and all these things, that this was going to happen, that they were going to start burning down your cities. And the leagues have been financing this. They have been financing Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and whatnot. They have been promoting all the propaganda. All of the leagues are doing this, saying, oh, and they've been doing this it's nothing new, but it's amped up to the nth degree now. And here they go now because somebody died, right? And I don't know. I mean, I don't trust anything that comes off the media, right? Is the guy actually, or he didn't even die, he's paralyzed or whatever, right? But it was like shot 7 times in the back. Like, that has nothing to do with white people hating black people. There's bad cops, there's good cops, there's bad people, there's bad situations. Sometimes things get out of control. Sometimes people die. There's actually quite a few more white people that get shot and killed by police in the United States than black people. But they won't tell you that, nor will they ever show you when there's violence against white people. They'll never put that on CNN or anything like that. This is an orchestrated race war. That's what it is. And without the banks and all the big tech corporations and all the other Hollywood, of course, and the NBA and the NFL and all the NHL all taking part, none of this would be happening. There would be no burning. There would be no burning, looting, and murder. There'd be no BLM crap going on, which is benefiting absolutely nobody and is being used as horrific sort of divide and conquer and, of course, just a total destruction of constitutional America, right? Because that's what they want to do. So here we go, and you've got everything coming together with the frickin' stupid-ass mask, of course, that all these people are wearing, and all the slogans, and look at this, a whole new game, like new reality, like new world, like new world order. That's what it is. So all of this has been orchestrated. I don't trust any of the shootings. Zilch. And, let's just listen into what they say here.
What we're doing right now in our league is huge. And I think for the young guys in our league to get a chance to see how guys are really coming together and speak and see real change, real action, because guys are tired. Tired. And I'm saying,
what are you tired of? You're in the highest paying league in the world. You guys are getting paid gazillions of dollars to bounce a freaking ball. And you're going to talk about what? And who are most of the people that are financing these games anyways? What's the average, or I don't even know, what would be the average attendance to these games? I mean, it would change from city to city. But I would say probably it's mostly white people that are supporting these superstar, mostly black players. And I have no problem. I think I think all sports are good, but I think pro sports is cancer. That's what I think. I think that we would every single human being on the effing planet, I don't think there's one human being on the planet that wouldn't benefit from having their television destroyed, from never watching this crap again. I honestly believe that. When I see people lament or, get so excited or get so heartbroken because their team lost at a certain point or something, and it's like, how much energy, how much distraction, how much of your life is altered by these entities, right? How much of your life is guided by this new world order and its beast tentacles? Whether it's people lining up to go to brony shows or the furries or cosplay or the NFL, right? It's the same beast system. And so the same beast programming is going to come through all of it. So, anyways, we'll continue.
We're not physically tired. We're just tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. Right?
Stop watching television. That's the number one answer. Stop watching television. Be the change you want to see. Don't dress like a gangster and you won't be treated like a gangster. That's all.
Blessed and fortunate enough to talk to Jacob.
And he's got a frickin' owl on his hat, of course, too. You can see that, right? Of course. I don't know what that exactly is. I mean, other than it looks like an owl symbolism, but, it's all the same beast, is it not?
Blake's father, and he's a Winston-Salem State graduate and was in my hometown of Winston-Salem for a while, and it's emotional. It's emotional, especially when you're a black man and you know that when George Hill spoke, he talked about being a black man. He was hurt. He was hurt. We all hurt. We all tired of just seeing the same thing over and over again, and everybody just expect us to be okay just because we get paid great money. We're human. We have real feelings, and I'm glad that we got a chance to get in a room together to talk with one another. And
the last people on planet Earth, okay, the very last people on planet Earth that you should ever listen to, aside from Bill Gates and co., are actors. The second to last people that you should ever listen to about anything other than their profession are pro sports players. There is not one pro sports player that knows more than you or understands the world better than you or has more insight than you in the world. They are all a bunch of dumb, stupid-ass jocks, right? Most of them don't even have a good... I don't want to talk about education, but most of them, all they know... Why are they there? Are they there because they spend, 12 hours a day in the library reading all these books and learning all this philosophy and, mathematics and science and whatnot? No, they're there because they practice. And they have, genetic gifts, right? Say, the right, if you're 7 feet tall or something, how many people are actually 7 feet tall? Well, how many people in the NBA are 7 feet tall, right? It's, it's one of those leagues that's a bit weird like that in the sense that you have to be, people that are ultra tall have a much better chance of succeeding. You could say, hey, you know what? The NBA is tallest. It's tallest because it promotes tallism, right? You could say that because that would be par for the course for the frickin' SJW bullcrap, right? That look at these leagues. They're gonna say all the leagues are sexist because they won't allow female players and stuff like that. They're gonna blend it all together. That they're blurring the lines. Won't be long before they're starting with the coaches and the assistant coaches and all the play-by-play people. And all the play-by-play. Look at all the play-by-play people and the people that do all the NBA interviews. And look what you'll see. You can't even talk about who these people are. You're not allowed to talk about people. You're not allowed to talk about. But the thing is that you take a look and you see. Look at the NHL. Look what they're doing. All of a sudden, hockey's too white, right? And they've replaced almost all the older white male sort of people that bred or breathe hockey and grew up, and that's all they know. All they know. And they've been in the league and they coached in the league and they've got so much info on the sport. And if all they did was talk about the sport, it'd be worth listening to because that's all you want to hear when you're trying to escape from this beast system. But instead, right, we got to go on and get it. Ron McClain coming on and Coach's Corner, Don Cherry getting fired. All these people coming on saying, oh, I got my white privilege. I got to apologize for my white. Hockey's too white. Hockey's too... Well, newsflash, it was made by French Canadians who happen to be white. So what it's white? Can't white people have a few things? It's so insane, of course, right? So I've been showing this a lot over the past couple years, dealing with the NHL and all the programming in this. But the NBA is even worse. Right? The NBA is really, really front and center with this whole Black Lives Matter crap. And they're pushing it massively. And they're doing it, and I'll show you in a second here.
Just cross paths and say, good luck in your game today. So.
Yeah. And then you've got Freemason, games will resume, Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, these guys, you can't even imagine how healthy they are. I mean, their freaking homes are bigger than your towns. They've got swimming pools that you could throw your house in and you wouldn't be able to find it. And you think that these people have somehow suffered. I'm not saying there aren't black people that suffer. That's not what I'm saying. That's a straw man. I'm saying that these people are scumbags and they're all part of this New World Order. And Shaquille O'Neal is a Freemason, F-U-C-K. That's it. End of story. So they're going to push all this crap because that's what they do. They make the deal and then they're going to come forth and do this. So you see here, a whole new game. Now they've got the fans out of the stands. Now they can put their propaganda everywhere. What's the whole new game? What's going on, right? What? It's just insane. Joint NBA, NBA PA. I'll read the statement here that they put up here. So this is from Executive Director Michelle Roberts and Commissioner Adam Silver, not sure the tribe, released the following statement. We had a candid, impassioned, and productive conversation yesterday between NBA players, coaches, and team governors regarding the next steps to further our collective efforts and actions in support of social justice and racial equality. Social justice W's, social justice warriors, cultural Marxist cancer on our society. And these beast systems, of course, are pushing and promoting and financing this, just like all the pride and everything else. So among others, the attendees included player and team representatives of all 13 teams in Orlando. All parties agreed to resume NBA play games on Saturday, August the 29th, with the understanding that the league, together with the players, will work to enact the following commitments. One, the NBA and its players have agreed to immediately establish a social justice coalition. Remember when I talked about NASCAR and they appointed a chair of social justice? Like, I'm not kidding. Like, they actually formed a frickin' department within the NASCAR of all things to deal with social justice and, equality and all that crap. Social justice coalition with representatives from players, coaches, and governors that will be focused on a broad range of issues, including increasing access to voting. And they're talking about using the arenas now for the voting. And they want everyone to vote for their demon rats, of course, right? Including increasing to voting, promoting civic engagement, and advocating meaningful police and criminal justice reform. But promoting civic engagement is only when it suits their narrative, which means Black Lives Matter, SJW, Pride, Women's March, and all the garbage and cancer of the New World Order, and nothing else. Nothing else. Just like their slogans that they allow the players to put on. You can put on BLM, you could put this on, you could put on I Can't Breathe, you could put all this crap that they have coded and they have set up as a narrative over the past decade or so. But you can't put anything else. What if you're pro-Trump? Forget about it, right? You can't put anything else. You're patriot. You can't put anything else. So it's total garbage. And then two, in every city where the league franchise owns and controls the arena property, team governors will continue to work with local elections officials to convert the facility into a voting location for the 2020 general election to allow for safe, in-person voting for communities vulnerable to COVID. Since when the effing hell does the NBA partake in the electoral process of the United States? Are you freaking kidding me? And you're still going to support this league? And if you do, you're part of the problem. There's no question about it. If a deadline is passed, team governors will work with local election officials to find another election-related use for the facility, including but not limited to voter registration and ballot receiving boards. Did I mention also, I've covered this several times, that all of these scumbags in the NBA have installed facial recognition cameras in all the arenas, along with the NHL, body cameras and thermal detectors. These scumbags, honestly. The league will work with players and our network partners to create and include advertising spots in each NBA playoffs game dedicated to promoting greater civic engagement in a national and local elections and raising awareness around voter access and opportunity. It's all a selection anyways, but this whole notion that all of a sudden these pro sports that are run by these psychopathic scumbag billionaires are all coming together under Adam Silver, and they're all like, we want to make sure everybody's, the equality's everywhere and everybody gets the vote. No, you don't. You only want your NWO objectives, and you want everyone to be programmed into doing the exact same lockstep that you're doing with this scamdemic. So, raising awareness and voter access, these commitments follow months of close collaborations around designing a safe and healthy environment to restart the NBA season, providing a platform to promote social justice, as well as creating an NBA foundation focused on economic empowerment in the black community. It's like what about the Asian community? What about the Hispanic community? What about the white community? Well, you're not even allowed to have a white community. You know what I'm saying, right? But it's like, oh, we'll just take this segment and we'll just promote them. It's like, oh, we're going to promote black businesses now. And it's like, well, how is that, how is that fair, first and foremost, right? We look forward to the resumption of the playoffs and continuing to work together in Orlando and all NBA team markets to push meaningful and sustainable change, sustainable development. It's the NWO. That's all it is. And if you support it in any way, shape, or form, if you're a diehard basketball fan, you want to watch these games, stream them. Don't give a red cent to these scumbags. Do everything you can to turn your back on it. Start burning your jerseys. Don't give them away. Burn them. Don't let other people be poisoned into this NWO beast system, which is what it is. And it all kicked off with the Kobe, right? The NHL, of course, doing the same thing here. You got the NHL playoffs to resume. All of a sudden, I'm telling you, I come from the hockey community. I'll tell you, 99% of hockey players are just dumb-ass jocks. Most of them get out of high school or drop out when they're 15. You think these people are Rhodes Scholars, right? Why would you listen to these people? You would only listen to them when it was like, this is how, this is how you shoot a puck or something like that. Or this is how I work out in the summer to get myself in tip-top shape. Or these are areas of your game that you can, or this is how you can work on your skating. That's when you'd listen to these people, because they would be absolute experts in those fields. Everything else, they're complete morons. They're just stupid-ass jocks. So why are we going to listen to them? Why are we going to listen to that sniveling Gary Bettman, right? Running the league, the NHL has suspended games for Black Lives Matter. These guys are such scumbags. So, and then you got Evander Kane calls out NHL for inaction on racism. You've had the whole Akeem Aliu character that they dug out of nowhere. This guy that was never anywhere near the NHL, but was allegedly involved in some incidents with a racist coach. And, of course, he got fired, and all 6 other coaches or 7 coaches, 8 coaches were fired last fall when they were doing we need to change hockey, right? Culture change in hockey, CC 33. The hockey's too white. They're putting out all this stuff. Well, it's a white man's game. right? It doesn't mean black people can't play. It came from white people. Why is that a bad thing, right? I mean, it's like saying, oh, yeah, cross-country skiing is too Norwegian, right? I mean, like, of course, being Scandinavian means nothing, right? Because Scandinavia, they've never done anything. They've never produced anything. They've never done anything. They have nothing. They're just a bunch of stupid-ass people, according to their own frickin' media. If you see the beast media, of course. But there you go. I mean, all the stories, again and again. And then it gets to this here, what Disney owns, of course. And this is why, I mean, you got to be crazy. If you think, yeah, I'm going to watch the NBA. I'm going to, you know what? I don't like CNN or I don't like Fox News, but I like ESPN, for instance. Well, Disney owns it all, right? Fox News, FX. Here, Sky, National Queer Graphics here, if I can fit this in. Bring this over here, right? Fox Sports, National Queer Graphic, Hulu, all the music, Star Wars, Marvel, of course. I mean, everything. Whoops. And on top of that, ABC, of course, and all of ESPN. Right? And so many other, I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what Disney controls. But they control so much. And they're just one of these giant beast organisms that are just sucking the life out of all of humanity and taking control of everything that you consume. Imagine some people, all they do is, I like Star Wars, and I like Captain America, and I like the Baltimore Ravens, and so, and your entire world, everything that you would do would be in one element of the beast system, which would be Disney, for instance. You grow up watching Harry Potter and Elsa and all this crap. You're in Disney. The History Channel, I like history. Disney, right? Everything. So, people really got to stop completely supporting this stuff. Look, here's TSN here. TSN. And Lewinberg on why Raptors and multiple teams not opted to hold media availability. But you just see all the stories here. Whoops. ESPN, Maria Taylor shares personal story of comply or die. How Michael Jordan was a voice of reason during NBA owners meeting. Right? Ahmed on impact NBA movement has had on the world of sports. And you just see everything is pushing. Everything. This is not a moment in this time. This is a movement. Hockey needs much more than a moment. And here are all the hockey players who are in their bubble. Some of them wearing their mask and some of them not. And I tell you, these guys are retards. Retards. Are you going to listen to them?
Oh, we need to practice more social distancing, and we got to have more pride, and we've got to promote Black Lives Matter.
I mean, these guys don't know anything. All they know is how to play their sport and PS4. That's all they know, folks. Sorry. There might be one out of 1,000 that might have a little bit more to them, but they're not Rhodes Scholars, right? You just see how this is your sports, 2020. 2020. All these stories, instead of going, hey, I'm going to escape the beast world, I'm going to escape all the garbage. No, you're going to go and you're going to get hammered. They're going to just pound it into your cranium at every turn, on every commercial, everything they do, promoting all of these things. So, the only solution, too, and just to show you this, who runs TSN? Well, Bell Media, right? Which is the largest telecommunications corporation here in Rainbow Unicorn Land, which promotes the whole let's talk about mental health with their OCD characters like Howie Mandel, and let's normalize obsessive compulsive disorder and autism and everything else. Let's call vulnerability a strength. Let's come out, let's get better help online. Let's all go online and talk about all their mental illness when your mental illness is coming from your telecommunications. And then the ESPN owns 20%. And we know what ESPN is. So are you surprised that any of this is happening? And it all comes, Black Lives Matter pushes Japan to confront racism. What is your business in Japan? What is your business going into other countries and trying to tell them how to think? I was kidnapped by police 9 hours for being Black Lives Matter protester, right? Black Lives Matter picnic held at Chester. And just like I showed too on my Twitter here. Well, maybe we can have some funny stuff here to close out. But, here, I put this video up. If you didn't catch it on Supreme Lord Commander, you got to see it. It's freaking hilarious. But, they had the reporter here, reporting from, where was it there? Where the Jacob Blake character, went down, sort of Kenoshi, and they're saying fiery but mostly peaceful protests, and half the city's on fire behind him, and he's saying, well, it's mostly peaceful, and it's like, what? Fire, right? And so, I had a joke this afternoon with this one. CNN described the monk burnings as fiery but mostly peaceful. And these are the monks that were burning themselves to protest the American, engagement in Saigon and the Vietnam War and stuff like that. Very powerful statements, right? But nonetheless, it just shows you the absurdity. But, it's insane what's going on, folks. What they're doing. It's a full court press. It's all around us. Look, I love sports. I think, but there's a difference between sports, and engaging in sports and partaking in sports, playing sports, and sitting in front of your cube, right? Your mind control, your beast system, and absorbing your programming. You see, if it was just the game, if that's all it was, there was no politics, no BLM, no pride, no, we have to, abolish the police, no women's rights, none of this crap, then it wouldn't be a bad thing. I'd be saying, you know what, you guys, we need a break. Put on the NBA or something. But it's the opposite. It's every bit as horrific and as beastly as your 6 o'clock news. It's the exact same thing. It's just the same as reading the New York Times. It might even be worse, because they make people idolize these people. And again, as I say, from my own personal experience, they're just dumb jocks, that's all. Right? They're just dumb jocks. And the people that run these leagues, most of the families, you look into any history of these people, and you would find secret societies. You'd find Illuminati, power family connections, banks, Federal Reserve. You would find all Hollywood. You'd find all the worst of the worst when it comes to who actually controls this world. So I'm imploring you all to get this message out to everyone. Pro sports is cancer, and that we all must turn our back on the beast. This is the only way to kill it. The only way to kill the beast is to turn your back on it. You see, if nobody was watching television, nobody would be wearing a mask. Let me repeat that so it's abundantly clear to every single human being that would ever listen to this. If nobody watched TV, no one would be wearing a mask. Please help me slay this beast. Get this message out. Stand up against this. Don't think about, we got to fix the NBA, or we got to fix the NHL or the NFL. Forget about it. You're way better off without it. Think of all the things you could do with your time if you just turned your back on this beast, if you didn't allow these hideous things to distract you and suck you in and suck all your energy out of you and program you into their beast system. Anyways, I'm going to be going live. 10 o'clock or so tonight, Eastern time. Maybe on Supreme Lord Commander. Maybe, actually, I don't know. Maybe on Jeff C Live. We'll see. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to do it, but I'll let you know. I'll put up a little promo on whatever channel. Of course, my main channel is down. I hope you guys know that. Make sure you're subbed to whatever channel I've uploaded this to. Definitely go and check out my work on BitChute. I've been uploading a lot there now over the past few days. And come and support me, most importantly, if you can, on Patreon. The link's in the description. That means the world to me. Thank you all so much for your support, especially my patrons, but everyone that supports this channel. Please be the change you want to see. Set the example. Turn your back on this cancer. We can make our lives so much richer without their beast system. I mean, it's night and day, really, when you cut this stuff out of your life. You start to think. You start to feel free. You start to live again. You start to think. I mean, it's unbelievable, folks. So anyways, I'll see you guys all later. Much love. God bless. Have a good one.